Today, we're going to look at 3 things under the context of whether I think they have a decent chance to compete for the national championship. My contention is today that Alabama is not. There are 3 reasons. The first thing is they lost their best player. That's a lot to overcome just in the best of times. They replaced them with some good players. However, I don't think anyone is going to come close to Brandon Miller. And they have a good trio of guards especially that will be able to pick up some of the slack. But Brandon Miller was the person they could go to in desired times. He was the one they could count on to get a bucket when they needed one. And he is just gone. And he played good defense too, frankly. The second reason is going to have to do with their defense and their defensive style. And the third reason is their offense and the limitations it possesses in both of those when it comes down to the NCAA tournament, when every single game is a must-win scenario. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to like and subscribe, as I definitely got plenty more of it on the way. The first area we're going to talk about is Alabama's defense. So Alabama plays good defense. They are a very good team according to Ken Palm. They have great adjusted defense statistics, which I think is wonderful. The issue is they prioritize, and I think this is a good overall defensive philosophy, but the issue is it can't apply it to every single situation. They prioritize protecting the paint. Okay, so you can see in this situation, Alabama is worried about the rim. They are definitely prioritizing, and the way they're prioritizing is they're taking the person, the guard the big that's guarding their other big, Oklahoma's big, and they're just using it to clog the paint. The issue is, if you do this against teams that can shoot, especially centers that can shoot or bigs that can shoot, they're just going to have the easiest kick-out passes to wide open threes. Okay? This shot is not by somebody who he should never be shooting a 3. This is by Tanner Groves, who shot 38%, 34%, and 33% in the 3 years prior to this. So he's a good 3-point shooter, and Alabama willingly concedes a 3. I understand in the long run this might be an advantageous play. However, this is one situation where it is not absolutely. And here's another example. We can see another possession where Alabama plays great defense, real solid defense. Make sure there's no open shots. Prioritize keeping people out of the paint. As this slight, not even really a drive, there's no real threat to get to the paint here. We can see there are 3 players that are prioritizing this. And then on the backside, which is fine. You can have 3 players in this area. You absolutely can. The backside guards, though, you got to be 100% sure what's going on. You cannot stunt towards a 3-point shooter by 2 players expecting the other person to go and leave warm-up threes. These are warm-up threes that we're just giving to other players. Let's watch this real quick. I didn't notice this before. Nate Oats, who I love as a coach. Side note, I don't remember if I mentioned that yet. Look at what he does right here, this hand gesture. What does he say? Right away. You see that point right there? He pointed, he said, you need to get up there. He made eye contact with number 5 and said that you need to get up there. Right here, boom. He said, you need to be the one that closes out there, because the rotation should go. This defender right here closes out to the shooter right here. And so Brandon Miller, or whoever this guard is, can close out here, and it creates a rotation. The issue is he just half stunts. Okay? You cannot have those kind of lapses and expect to be a great defense. You can't do it. So the biggest issue in my eyes for Alabama is their offensive struggles. And offensive struggles is a weird way to phrase it, because they're a very good offensive team. They are not even a good offensive team, I'll say a great offensive team when they have the ability to push in transition. The issue is, far too often, they were stuck in situations where they were in the half court like this. You had teams that got back on defense. Let me turn on the commentary real quick. I think he touches on it.
He's feeling it. He lives at the mid-range. Back on the floor for Oats. Clowney. And again, now 0 for his last 18 3-point shots.
0 for his last 18 3-point shots. It's not a one-off occurrence. If we look at Alabama right here, they shot the 4th most 3-point attempts in the nation last year. That's great. I love that. I love 3-point attempts. The issue is they shot it at 33.5%, which isn't bad necessarily, but it's not 36% by the San Francisco Dons. It's not 38% by the Penn State Nittany Lions. The other thing is, not only is the 3-point percentage not that high, The field goal percentage is very low. 44% from 2, or 44% overall. It's going to already be brought down because of 3-point percentage, but the only reason you have to shoot, or you want to shoot that many threes, is because it gives you options for when you're on offense as a 2-pointer. If you can't get efficient 2-point shots, then there's no point for you to be shooting that amount of threes. They had just situations where they essentially moved the ball around and weren't able to get decent shots. Here's a perfect example of this. If you are unable to get decent looks in your half-court offense, it doesn't matter how good in transition you are, you're going to struggle and you're going to get beat at some point. So 2 of the last 4 games that Alabama played, or Alabama lost last year, show exactly the concept that I think they're going to struggle with no matter what, as long as they have not tremendous defense and not tremendous 3-point shooting and or 2-point shooting, or both of those ideally. Against Oklahoma, the game they got smoked, frankly, against a mediocre Oklahoma team, they shot 27.3% from 3, which isn't terrible, not good, not terrible. But they shot 38% from 2, which is terrible. That's brutal. You cannot shoot that. Not only that, Oklahoma shot 69% from 3. Like I said, at some point, someone is going to get hot. Okay, 69% isn't sustainable. They cannot do that over the long run. They just can't do it. But they can do it on 13 possessions. They can do it on 13 shots in one game. Then we look at the game that ultimately knocked them out for the year. Again, we're looking at Alabama on offense. 3-point, 11.1%. The 11.1%, you can maybe still win if this is in the 50s. You cannot shoot 32% from 2 and 11.1% from 3. And San Diego State didn't even play that well. Like, they shot mediocre from 2 and they shot okay from 3. In conclusion, I absolutely love Nate Oats, and I love his playing style, love his coaching style. I am a huge fan, and I'd love to, honestly, it'd be awesome to work with, to talk with, discuss anything with Nate Oats. That being said, if you're going to give up open threes, if you're going to rely on having players like Brandon Miller, and you're going to rely on making 3-point shots when you're a mediocre at best 3-point shooting team, you're going to struggle when it comes down to the games that you need to win at the end of the year. I wish Alabama and Nate Oats all the best. I'm honestly rooting for them. I really, really like him as a coach. And I love the way he plays, love the way he coaches. And so I'm rooting for them. That being said, I think this year will be a struggle. If you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe. But most importantly, have a great rest of your day.